State Department to condemn Chinese government's harmful ethnic unity law. And Iran warns oil tankers to use approved routes in Strait of Hormuz or face a forceful response. And the crisis is deep. The view from Russia as the fuel shortage worsens. And of course, there's still issues around the Ebola outbreak in Africa. So definitely there's a lot of things going on in the world as the Nord Stream blast ordered by Ukraine, says a German prosecutor. So Ukrainian charged with sabotaging pipelines between Russia and Germany. So Germany charged Nord Stream suspect with attacking pipelines on behalf of Ukraine. Get to some other news around the U.S., and it will be coming in and hearing what folks have to say about a number of these stories. The Supreme Court upholds the state bans on transgender athletes. Newsom office responds to the SCOTUS ruling on women's sports. And NCAA leaders says no plans to change rules on transgender athletes after the Supreme Court ruling. So the ruling on women's sports caps a year of setbacks for transgender advocates. And FBI deems Nancy Guthrie ransom note as inauthentic. So Nancy Guthrie's ransom note, some were extortion attempts, FBI says. FBI still says it's investigating some notes in Nancy Guthrie's case as legitimate. And police arrest two climbers at the Empire State Building. Daredevil couple Angela Niccolo and Ivan Burkus climbed to the top of the Empire State Building in New York City, get engaged, and then were taken into custody. So the climber couple arrested after scaling Empire State Building antenna for an apparent marriage engagement and all along those lines. So I guess that's one way that you can say that you are totally in love with your spouse or future spouse, and we'll see how this goes as well. Ocasio Cortez endorses Abdul El Sayed in a crucial Michigan Senate race. So this is a race that she is endorsing one of the candidates, and Abdul El Sayed becomes the first Senate candidate backed by a pro-Palestine Jewish group. So definitely we'll hear more about that. And donors were misled by Trump-backed Freedom 250, House Democrats are alleging. Angers as report says Trump hijacked U.S. anniversary to serve his own agenda. Trump allies behind the empty state fair, rocked by bombshell allegations, and all in that space. And I did see that I think it was a couple of American North Carolina entries pulled out because they were not happy with the way that they were represented and everything like that. I think Mount Olive might have been one of them, if I'm remembering correctly, and all in that kind of way. But you can still get a North Carolina representation at the 250th anniversary. I think there's a NASCAR car that is being touted as one of the entries, and there might be some other entries as each state is supposed to have an entry highlighting part of their history. But I did see that there was a NASCAR car that had been donated to be part of it as well, because NASCAR definitely has its roots in North Carolina and all in that kind of way. So I'm going to bring in my folks, see what they've got to say about a number of these stories. I can just see Rick back in his younger days trying to climb the Empire State Building.
No, I'm afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights. I couldn't. I was late for practice at a strip joint I used to work at, and for punishment, they wanted me to climb the ladder and change the marquee, and I was too afraid to even do that. So.
Oh well. So you're too afraid.
All right. The big news is jobs report out for June. 57,000 jobs added, but really, because they revised previous months down by 74,000, we're at negative 17,000 jobs.
Right.
And Trump remains the worst jobs president since 1933. This is the worst year, shaping up to be the worst year for jobs since COVID, and before that, since the Great Recession year of 2010.
Wow.
If you take a look at Trump's 5.5 years as president, he's the first president, as I said, since Herbert Hoover and the Great Depression to have negative job creation over his time as president.
Well, so that's not good at all. Sasha, I did hear that there was problems with the ways that things were being done. There was a massive attack in Kyiv. I hope our man in Kyiv, Ivan, is doing well. I know we'll probably be seeing him on Friday and everything like that, but I did see that reported there had been attacks both ways, but that Russia did attack at Kiev. But have you heard anything as to how folks are doing and all in that land? Because I did see that, and that was, of course, concerned about our men in Kiev.
Well, this is a strategy of Putin not to allow any peace talks or discussions or anything. And Zelensky actually was trying to approach Putin through Belarusian Lukashenko, President of Belarus. And the President Lukashenko went to Putin. And after that, he went to China to see Emperor Xi. And Emperor Xi said that he wants to have that war over as soon as possible, stop killing each other, and so on. But Putin has some other. See, he cannot stop the war because his own people will decimate him. So the continuation of war is his personal survival. And unfortunately, people keep being killed on both sides, I must say. But unlike Ukraine, Putin is attacking a civil population, which Kiev does not do. He attacks only military complexes, the oil refineries, and so on. So this, unfortunately, where we are. There will be big NATO conference, I think, on July 7th and 8th, and maybe something will come out of that. But right now, let's face it, Russia has tremendous opportunities to keep killing innocent civilians in Ukraine. It's doing that. Nobody can do anything about it as to decimate his regime. That's the only way what Ukraine can do, nothing else.
Yeah. Whether you see it in the news, Rick, I know, and also Sharif, I know a lot of things are going on in the world, but to share some of the things that you're seeing.
Well, it's becoming increasingly apparent that Taylor Swift isn't secretly in love with me. She is, her wedding weekend starts tomorrow, starting at at Madison Square Gardens, which is a venue that holds 30,000 people. So anyway, she's getting married to Travis Kelce, and that's inspiring a lot of interest. All right. As Sasha has indicated, Putin is not doing well, and the odds that he has to leave office on Polymarket have gone up, but I still think it's a sucker's bet because his approval in Russia, since he controls the media there, is still 69%.
Yeah.
Sasha, is Putin in any danger of having to leave office?
Yes, he is. Because if you know history of Russia, there was never a replacement of the Tsar or whatever Russian leader, whoever he is, by movement from the bottom by the people who are marching in large numbers. It's always done through some kind of in-house job. Whether removal, it could be peaceful removal, like for example, Nikita Khrushchev, he was just removed, sent to pension, and that's it. Some others were killed while removed, like starting with Tsar Pavel I, he was killed, and never mind Nikolai II, who was murdered by the Bolsheviks in 1918. Okay, so you can go on and on. So it's always close by people to the ruler of Russia who can affect his whereabouts and his life, or just removal.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Dr. Sharif, what's going on in your neck of the woods, and How are you dealing with the heat wave? I know it's impacting a lot of people, including those in Bangladesh and Malaysia and places like that. So, how are you doing, and what's happening in your world?
Heat wave actually creating massive problem country like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and so on. And we have humidity in our weather. That's why it create more tiring situation and so on. Last 2 years, I'm just discussing about this climate leadership program, strategic leadership program from USA. I come back to Bangladesh from Canada and USA, and I start my project with this climate leaderships. I negotiate with all of the government agencies, those who can have ability to take decisions, as well as right now I'm in the studios with these religious ministers and their group of companies. I'm working for them. So climate is a major challenges right now. Whatever the countries they are denying, or the political people and so on, they are denying. It's actually massive problem, massive problem. It may cause lot of issues in our countries. So I'm trying to motivating peoples with the help of Global North and Global South. I'm getting very good result. I do not want to say people can understand if you give them real knowledge and informations. That is the things happening. Second important things what I'm talking about, the world is running behind AI. I'm very good fan of artificial intelligence. Even I have a lot of white papers, scientific papers, and my postdoctorate research on artificial intelligence and so on. But I do focus on more on wisdom. Human intelligence is most important to solve this kind of climate related things, to solve this kind of political things. We need empathy and sympathy. We have to work from our heart and mind. That is the lackings of around the world, each and every component of the planet. But Western world is good. I'm blessed by Western world. I have very good people like Nick Palveda, Sasha, Rick, Markley, and all of the people you are good. Kimberly's, David Walker. So why don't the good people bring all of the human intelligence together and make all of the complex problems, and they solve all of the complex problem together? That's why I build up this Wisdom Affairs or World Talent Economic Forum. I invite you all in our conference, not only for making money, but also for progression. As a human, what is your responsibility? As a politician, what is your responsibility? As a corporate leader, what's your roles? As an academician, how we can do betterment for the humanity? That is the things we can do, and that's why wisdom is most important factor for us. Let's perform with your wisdom, with your ethical practice, not only give all of the responsibility to these cheap laborers or this artificial intelligence. Do your work, make hand dirty, and move forward. Thank you.
I appreciate that and everything like that. Hey, Rick, I did see that there was a big celebration in the DC area, and I'm sure that Trump will claim that it was for him and all along those lines.
Yeah.
Even though it was because of the World Cup, and a lot of people were in the DC area celebrating the victory of the U.S. over Bosnia and everything like that. But I'm sure he'll try to claim that it was for him, since it is during the 250th anniversary, and there was a lot of people in the streets of DC. So definitely, what is your take on this celebration?
Exactly that his people are already claiming that they were showing up for the DC 250 celebration, the celebration of him. No, the attendance at his Great American State Fair is still, pathetic. And people, got together for watch parties for the World Cup.
Right.
In more important news, so we just saw the jobs numbers, which are terrible.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And unemployment actually ticked down from 4.3 to 4.2, but that's just because more than 1 million people got discouraged and quit looking for jobs. It's not that Trump has done anything to improve the job market. As far as inflation, for May, it was 4.2%. Polymarket is predicting it'll be 3.8% for June when the numbers come out in a few days. Still close to double of what Trump promised us.
Yeah, double what he promised. Now, I know that your daughter is living overseas. I think she's married now and everything like that. But I did see that one of Trump's allies, and I can't remember which one it was talking about, after the birthright decision, this notion of banning foreign pregnant tourists.
So birthright or birth tourism, where
Right.
a pregnant woman tries to be in the U.S. to give birth, so her kid automatically has citizenship. How many people do this a year? About 2,000, according to the most reputable numbers. There are some sleazy think tanks who say that it's 10 times that rate, but they are lying and manipulating numbers. About 2,000 people do it. I don't know if it's mostly from China. I would guess so, but that's still only 0.1% of U.S. births. So it's not like, if you listen to Stephen Miller, Trump's racist creep, he says we're being overwhelmed. Well, one birth in 1,000 is not being overwhelmed.
Yeah, well, we've got a lawyer on this show and everything like that. And by the way, you'll be glad to know that I did have a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints on the online dinner party because she's in real estate. So Sharice, I believe the last name was Walker, was on the show yesterday and was talking about real estate and a number of other things, including being a proud member of that particular faith and all along those lines. But that neither here nor there, but it was an interesting conversation with her, a gentleman that is traveling the world and is now in Greece and everything like that. So he is a religious author, I guess is the way I would describe him, and everything like that. And then a business coach. So there's some good guests that we had on the last edition, and that should be up and running on our page later on today, if I remember to put it up no later than Friday. But Republicans are considering, and you are a lawyer, Nick, several ideas to stop pregnant foreigners from entering the United States and giving birth on U.S. soil. So what is your take on this? Can it fly? Is it going to make it to constitutional law and everything like that? I know that.
Absolutely. I mean, Rick is downplaying it. 2,000 people. You're talking about, what is it, like 6 people every day? Some cases 10 people a day. Can you imagine that? They're coming over here pregnant just to have a birth so they can claim U.S. citizenship. How left sleazy is that? That's beyond sleazy. And for anyone to support it by having downplayed the amount of numbers is absolutely ridiculous. And then he downplays the numbers again about unemployment. Unemployment down, period, the end. Oh, they got discouraged.
That's right, because Trump has added fewer jobs than any president since 1933.
So what?
42,000 jobs a month average for the past year, less than 1/4 of the average rate from 2010 to 2024.
Let's take our neighbors to the north. The neighbors to the north, the unemployment is like double what we have. And why aren't we complaining about Canada and their fake liberal policies and their double amount of unemployment? Why don't we talk about that? And why don't we talk about Canada's inflation rate and their low GDP? So our liberal
so it's not double. Canada's unemployment rate is about 50-60%. It's 6.6%. So it's not double.
Can I interject real quick? Because y'all are having an argument that doesn't make any sense. Nick made a claim. Nick made a claim. Well, let's get back to the
inflation rate. Hold on, before you do, Toby, let's give the actual numbers, because Nick is giving bullshit numbers. Canada's inflation rate was 3.2% in May, a full percent lower than the U.S. So no, Canada is not doing that.
Don't talk about their GDP.
Wait. Stop. Rick, don't look that up. Rick, don't look that up.
All right.
Reason don't look that up is because Nick is taking you into the weeds. Nick doesn't even live in the U.S. He's arguing about Canada. He's arguing about Canada
versus Canada.
And so let me finish, Nick. Let me finish, because you talked your bit. You're going to make up your BS numbers and keep on like that. We're going to keep on talking like this because I can talk faster than you. So we're going to keep going back like this because I can talk better and faster than you. So let's get back to it. Oh, here we go again. We're going to keep going like this for the next 30 minutes. And we're going to have to sit here like this. Nobody can hear anything, and everybody's going to turn off because it's boring. Nobody likes us going back and forth with this. What people want to hear is a conversation. So there we go. Now we can have a conversation. What Nick was just trying to do was take you into the weeds, Rick. That was his whole debate topic or a tactic, because what Mark just pointed out a very bad law which is what they were trying to search for, which is trying to have pregnancy tests for women to come into the country. So Nick didn't want to try and justify that. What he did was, hey, let's talk about something else. He gave you a whole red herring to go down, and that's what he was taking you down. Because this law that they're trying to do, which there is already a law on the books where, you know, that deals with pregnancy coming into the country at that moment to legitimately have a baby in the country. There is a law that's already there on the books and is enforced. But what they want to do is actually make this different. They want to extend it further and have these crazy, and it would lead to having pregnancy tests and pregnancy checks at the border for individuals coming into the country. And that is a very ridiculous and scary way to be, because as it was stated by multiple people, myself included, this is the prequel to The Handmaid's Tale. This is how things work now. And for us to go into some Canadian direction and not even talk to Sasha about it, who actually lives in Canada, tells you for a fact that was no more than a distraction.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
AI says this: yes, you can be denied a U.S. visa for entry if you are pregnant, specifically if a consular officer suspects you are traveling primarily to give birth in the U.S. to obtain automatic citizenship for your child.
Yeah. Hey, just really quickly, because it's something you talk about quite often, Chitobi, which is this notion of honesty. And apparently former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, and definitely a presidential candidate, is urging Americans to put human decency over politics after an anonymous caller falsely accused him last week of harming his 4-year-old twins, leading them to be temporarily taken away from him in one of the most awful moments of my life, according to the quote that I'm seeing. They're 4 years old. They have no idea what any of this means. They don't know why they were meeting a police officer. They don't know why they were brought to a room to have a conversation with someone that they've never met. And no one could tell me exactly what's going on until that interview with the children has happened. And so this is a interview that he had yesterday with George Stephanopoulos on Good Morning America and everything like that. So do we need to have more decency just in the general conversation around politics, which is what he is calling for, and all along those lines?
We need more decency within society itself. What Sasha pointed out perfectly yesterday was when he talked about how the American public has accepted Trump. He's now he's a second-term president. This man yesterday joked about having a threesome with his sons. So this is where we are, and this is what is seen as acceptable in our society. From the hatred, the sexism, all the different isms that are out there, we've allowed that to be accepted. And until we get back to a decency state where talking about Jack Nicholson's penis from a pulpit in the middle of a speech should not be accepted. Somebody who has been found liable of rape should not be accepted in the highest office in the land. But we are at a point in our society, as Sasha pointed out yesterday, in the U.S. society that has allowed that to happen. So we need decency back.
I'd like to mention something about this job report that we just discussed a minute ago. It's a clear tool of market manipulation by Trump and his friends. I'll explain to you that this job report is due to be released on Friday, never Thursday, Friday. Right. So if Friday is a holiday, then what you do, you move it to Monday, or you can actually release it on Friday. Holiday is a holiday is a holiday, but job report is a job report, and you just release it when it's due. What Trump is doing here, knowing results, of course, before it's released, he releases on Thursday, so people can trade off of this report, Now, they showed much fewer jobs than was expected. Why is it good for market? Is it good for market? Because there's much less danger of interest rates to be increased, and even hope that it will be decreased. The problem is that this is a government report which 99% of the times will be revised. These are not real numbers. They are not. They're just made up numbers which will be revised. Now, the previous report, which was done by a private company on Wednesday, this is the real numbers. They are not going to be revised. So these numbers will be revised. So if you trade off these numbers and trying to make a little bit of money, be careful, because these numbers will be revised.
I want to go back to what Jacoby was saying. So Trump had a terrible month. He lost a war. The bullshit over the reflecting pool, his Great American State Fair has failed. He had motorcycle jumping and UFC fights on the White House lawn. The inflation is up. Gas is still, all this stuff is going on. And yet Trump's approval increased over this one of the worst months of his presidency. So what Jacoby is right, that Americans, particularly his base, are immune to any lack of performance from Trump or any. They don't care. The same stuff that Biden got in trouble for. Hunter Biden had a sweet job where he was on a board in Ukraine where he earned a couple $1 million. Trump has earned $4 billion, while investors in Trump have lost $2 billion. Investors in his coins. His followers don't care. His approval has gone up.
Well, apparently he's making a lot of money, and I see that we've got Steve Rao with us as well, and I love to hear Steve's thoughts about this, and you can look it up, Rick, because I did see a figure, but I forgot exactly what it is. But he has earned millions, if not billions, in crypto. So he's been making a whole heap of money in the crypto.
Time, every billion he earns, his followers lose $1 billion. It's a zero-sum game. He pulls money out of crypto. The crypto drops in value. The suckers take a hit.
Yeah, because I knew they were saying that he earned a whole lot of money in crypto and all along those lines. Steve, how are you doing? What you got going on? Are you?
I'm good. I'm about to board a plane, so I just came in. I lost track of the time. I'm going to Chicago for a wedding. But just wanted to wish everyone a happy 4th, America 250. A lot's happened in 250 years. And maybe next week I'll do kind of a recap of some of the things that I think are very interesting. We won the All-America City Award in Morrisville, and I was asked to lead the delegation as a former council member. It was really great. And I think it goes a lot, to talk about, we talked about civic health and civic trust in Denver. And I think what Morrisville's done, in the heart of the RTP in Wake County, North Carolina, people from all over the world coming in, bringing their great ideas, and a lot of work to connect residents and citizens to their government. And I think we need more of that in the U.S. So, I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing. The media share good stories, try to be positive, and I think there's a lot of good things about this country still that we often forget. And I think if you look at the local communities, there's a lot of positive stories compared to the national news. So that's what I got out of my few days in Denver last week. Mm-hmm. And, it's but happy 4th to everybody in America. Of course, Josh is in Canada, and some of you all around the world. But yeah,
let's not forget they had their celebration on. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sasha, but I believe that was yesterday, because yesterday was also my birthday, and the Canadian Independence Day was July 1st, correct?
Yes, it's great.
Oh, that's great.
And but you see, in Canada, they don't celebrate the big time.
No.
So on. People, get together, family, friends, just a very peaceful type of affair. It's not a big deal. And unless it's kind of a day which would be 150 years, or I remember 100 celebration, 125. Okay, so when it's an appropriate date, then it will be something more. If it's just a Canada Day, that's it. It's just a holiday. That's about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Steve, just really quickly, one of the things that Trump has been talking about is the nature of crime. He points out Chicago as being one of those hotbeds of crime and everything like that. So, how safe are you feeling going to Chicago? I've not been to the Midwest since I was in college, and I was back in the 80s and everything like that. But I do still have friends in the Midwest. But I was just wondering if you're going to this area that sometimes he brags about, well, not brags, but warns about being a hotbed of police, of violence in general and youth violence. So I just wondering how concerned are you about your trip as you're going there for a wedding?
Oh, I'm not concerned. I mean, it's a wedding when it's Saturday before. So, I think Chicago, one thing I've been reading some books over the summer, but, a lot of these are cities that have been run by Democrats. And so I think that's something the Republicans often say. It's just, the way the system is, just can't take on crime. Housing still costing a lot in a lot of these big cities. So, it's but yeah, just, you go with open eyes anywhere you go, and hopefully we'll be safe, and hopefully we'll be cool.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be cool because it's not cool around the rest of the world. Hey, Kim, I know that you fly, and I don't think that you or Nick fly economy and everything like that, but I did see a story where they said that the flying, especially in economy, has never been pleasant, but instead of getting better, many frequent flyers are complaining because Delta just recently announced it's no longer going to serve water or its trademark cookies to economy passengers on short flights and everything. And it seems
I gotta head out. They're calling the plane, but I'll be in touch next week. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it. Happy 4th to you as well. But they were saying that even some of the airplanes that have screens online that are all part of the planes, the screens don't always work and everything like that. But I just wanted your take on that in terms of the economy, economic flights, and some of the things that they're pulling back. Because apparently you can't even get a glass of water with Delta now.
I've seen a big cutback on people traveling, period. You can easily book a reservation to just about anywhere right now. There are plenty of seats available. As far as flying economy, I don't know that I say that. I fly whatever is available and affordable on commercial. I don't fly private. But I would say that even the private jet industry is struggling right now, and they're offering deals to just everyday people like me. So, you could get a good bargain deal on private jet fares. But right now, the travel industry is down. But according to the GOP fear spreaders, birthing tourism is up. I want people to do the math. There's only 5,000 babies born in the birthing tourism industry, if in fact they did come over here just to have a baby. But so I don't think that we should be wasting our time on issues so small, because that's just a small number. We need to be
it's a look over here. It's a look over here issue, bullshit issue, like trans athletes is a bullshit issue to distract us from the Republicans' terrible economic policies, which affect
their choice issues. I mean, playing against a person who's transgender, that's your choice. If they just should be, they should let you know, but that's your choice. But it's just a game. Go do something else. But we have real life concerning issues in our country. And, as far as arresting all the people who are taking paint chips out of the pool is damaged. Let people take as many paint chips as they want. That's less cleaning for the people who are going to have to come in and fix it. Instead, they put up a fence around it and cry, they're damaging my pool. Well, you're a reflection of Narcissus, who was a Greek god. Do you know how he was destroyed? Greek god Narcissus was destroyed by a reflection pool. So, maybe it will take care of business here too. But, history keeps repeating itself. We're running down a horrible path of, like Rick was saying, they're just pointing fingers at small things to distract you. They're making them bigger than what they really are. 5,000 babies are born. That's it.
I want to go back to cheap flights because, the Frontier Airlines is, if you fly them on a short, run, their seats are like lawn chairs. They have no padding. They're a metal frame with some webbing. They're ridiculous seats. But a flight from Los Angeles to Vegas on Frontier is $28. It takes an hour to fly to Vegas. So you can be a little uncomfortable for an hour to fly for $28 frickin' dollars.
Yeah, I mean, and it's worth it. But remember that you pay for your carry-on, you pay for your check luggage. So it adds up.
You take a backpack with 2 pair of underwear, a change of shirt, a pair of pants, a couple of protein bars, and you're just going to Vegas to.
Or don't do a carry-on backpack because they do charge you for that. Wear 4 or 5 layers of clothes and carry a nice purse because they won't charge you for a purse. But you're right. Carry cheap layers of clothes. A few choice pieces of clothes. Do like my son does. He gets to where he's going, goes immediately to the first Goodwill or thrift store, buys what he needs, gets a bag of underwear, and then when he comes back, goes back home, he throws the underwear away and takes the thrift clothes back and donates them.
My wife has been buying travel underpants, and I'm like, oh my God, those underpants, they're not the most flattering. She goes, yeah, but I wear them and I just throw them away.
That's right.
I got something more important to discuss is underpants. Okay, come on, stop.
All right, okay,
let's stop.
We have 15 minutes left, and no one has discussed yet the World Cup. The FIFA.
I was going to get to the World Cup.
Fantastic.
Okay, let's get to the World Cup.
Okay, here's what's happening is, the way I see it, all the world teams, including African teams, Asian teams, not so much Latin American team because they are traditionally quite advanced, and for example, like Argentina and Brazil, they're powerhouses and so on. So the distance between these teams and top European teams is nothing but disappearing. It's not there. I just don't see, like Senegal yesterday was playing a strong team, and
they were playing Belgium.
They were playing Belgium, which used to be a strong team. I don't believe that it's a strong team now, but it used to be a strong team. And they were leading 2-0, but not only the score, they were playing much better than Belgium team. However, the lack of experience, the wrong strategy started to get back to their net, and Belgium were lucky enough to equalize, and then there was the penalty kick given to Belgium, which is the best way to say it. It's quite controversial. I didn't think that it was a penalty kick. Okay, there are 3 requirements for penalty kick. Okay, it has to be in the box. It has to be the contact, and it has to be a situation which could be easily resolved in a goal if the violation would not happen. Yes, there was a contact. Yes, it was in this box. However, I don't believe, but it's me, I could be wrong several times, but I didn't see that there was a situation which could lead to a goal, because the ball already passed these 2 guys who were clashed, and therefore I think it's kind of a weak decision making on. But again, they have war system. They understand that the game is being watched by hundreds of millions of people. So probably they had enough of the medals to allow it. But I want to notice something else. I remember when I was young, the World Championship, and at the same time, slightly later, it was European Team Championship. There were two, by far, the most important tournaments in the world. All the best people were trying to make the team. The team was the most important thing what would happen to a nation. Today's situation is different. All the European players, they're playing in top European teams. They're making a killing financially. They're making tens, 20s, and 50s, and if not $100 million. So they play this little player once every 4 years to play 3, 4, maybe 5 matches for a national team. It's not a big deal for them. It's financially not lucrative at all. They can get injuries and so on. So this is non-event for top European teams. Look at Germany. Look at Holland. The only thing is exception is France. And it's exception simply because it's such a strong team. It's a parallelly strong team. It's a uniquely strong team. So it's only one exception of the rule. And all these French players are all playing in top teams. They're all making killing financial and so on. Now, what's going to happen is because of essentially it's becoming now a showplace. It's a marketplace for upcoming players. So now the African teams, they have all incentives to do their best because this is a way for a lot of their players to make it to top European teams, start making very serious money as a result and so on. So Europeans are not motivated, even France is not motivated that much. They're just
because I had a couple of quick questions for Sasha and everything. Because I did see that Harry Kane, I believe that's the name, would beat Pelé now in terms of most goals, and he does seem like he is an all-star, and he may be going for the golden ball, I think is what it's called, or something like that.
Golden
along
boot.
those lines. Yeah, thank you. And then the other thing that I was curious about, and I would love to hear your thoughts around Harry Kane, but also your thoughts around the controversial, because I did watch the USA game, and it could hurt them against Belgium, but I did not think that deserved a red card, because it looked like they were both going for the ball and everything like that. But I was just wondering your thoughts around the player, and I think he might be of African descent that got this red card, because he's the leading scorer.
Fuller and Balogun, the first World Cup player in 20 years to both score a goal and get kicked out with a red card.
Right. So what was your thoughts, Sasha? I know you were watching the game, but what were your thoughts? Did that deserve a red card?
I don't think he deserved red card. Yellow card, perhaps. Not red card.
So can they win without him?
I had to watch the second, third time or so on just to see what the red card is given for. And I disagree with that.
Here's Sasha, because I've been waiting, because I think I've been waiting excited because I've been wanting to talk to you about the World Cup anyway. So I do think Canada has a shot against Morocco. I think they should. It's going to be a tight game. They have a shot against Morocco. I think Belgium will probably beat the US, especially now. But you touched on it earlier, but I want to know who has a shot other than Argentina, because Messi is still otherworldly, but who has a shot against France? Mbappe is nuts.
Nobody except Argentina, and that's it. It's clear to me. It's 100% clear. A final, France against Argentina. That's it.
It's not the
top of all others.
Sasha, just really quickly, what is your take on the other host country? Because they have been playing very well. I just know we said that the U.S. is probably going down, and I do agree that they lost their top player, so they may go down in the next round of 16 and everything like that. And Canada has got a good shot against Morocco, but Mexico has been playing very good. So what are your thoughts around how far can Mexico go? Because they've been playing very strong, and they knocked off Ecuador, and I forgot who they're playing next. But how far can Mexico go in their rounds?
Okay, normally I would say that Mexico is in a different league from US. It should win easily against US. The only thing what US has going for them, it's an absolutely fantastic coach, Pochettino. He is absolutely fantastic coach who worked in top European clubs, and he made US team as strong as never before. Never ever in its history, U.S. team was as strong as it is now. But I don't think it will be enough against Mexico.
So without birthright citizenship, the U.S. doesn't win, doesn't get as far. Out of 26 players on the team, 12 players are either immigrants, dual nationals born overseas, or children of non-citizen immigrant parents. So we've always been a nation of immigrants. People like white nationalists freak out about the percent of immigrants we have. It's the same percentages we had 100 years ago, and our growth rate is the lowest in history. We have room for people. And immigration helps us generally if you're not a racist piece of crap.
Hey, Sasha, just really quickly, who are you expecting to win the games today? Because I do know that Portugal is playing Sweden, and there are a couple of other matches as well, because we still got to get to the round of 16. And so who are you looking to be winning the games that are going to be taking place this evening in the World Cup and everything like that?
Well, today is relatively easy because Spain will win and smash. It's going to be 1-0 or 4-0. It all depends what Spain wants to do out of these games. They will definitely win. Now, Portugal is playing Croatia. Very unclear game to me because Croatia it's rebuilding its team. It's retiring now some top players, bringing in new players. So Croatia will be very strong in 2 years from now. Today, it's still good enough to inflict damage on Portuguese if they will not figure out what to do with Ronaldo, whether to retire him or let him play and see what's happening. I don't know. It's a controversial problem. I think this team without Ronaldo at all would be much better and stronger team. With Ronaldo, it's a very questionable situation. So we'll see how that. And the last match today is, I think it's Argentina playing somebody. It doesn't matter whom she's playing. Argentina will take it over for sure.
Okay, that sounds good.
Like watching soccer now, it looks like they're allowing more tussling. The contact looks more violent. Am I wrong, or there seems to be the contact between players seems to be more aggressive? Is that?
Well, I think it's a present from FIFA to Trump, who loves martial arts and all that stuff. So they decided to please him and allow more contact. If you watch European major soccer league like English Premier League or La Liga from Spain, they don't have that much violence on the field, not at all.
Yeah, okay. Definitely. We'll give it a round down and everything like that. I did see that while everybody is excited, myself included, about the World Cup, and I wish that Dr. Sharif was here, but another sport that is very much in the news is cricket, because apparently cricket's got some major championships going on as well, including one with Finland and Portugal and everything like that. So I was just wondering, what is y'all's take on the other big world sport, which is cricket, because that's definitely one that a lot of the Asian countries are big into, and they're in the middle of their cricket international. So what is y'all's take on cricket? Is that the sport that you follow as well, Sasha, or anybody else? But I did see that that's a major sport that's got its own championships going on as well.
Let me ask you, Mark, one hypothetical question. Let's say you walk into a sport bar and they show something on the screen, and it will take 100 people who want to watch a soccer game, how many cricket people will be there asking, no, please switch to cricket, soccer.
My guess, I mean, World Cup is definitely the world sport. It is soccer, or it's more correctly called football, and everything like that is internationally renowned and is the leading sport. I would argue even bigger than basketball and football and some of our American sports along those lines. But there is a large Asian population that is into cricket. That's why I said that I wish that Dr. Sharif was still around, because he probably could answer that better than I could. But there are places, even here in North Carolina, that, yes, if you went to, and just tell me correctly if I'm wrong, if you went to Morrisville, there'd probably be a lot of people that'd be trying to watch a cricket match.
So cricket's the number 2 sport in the world. Football is the number 1 sport in the world. There is it's not compared to the other sports, those two are far and away head and shoulders above every other sport being watched. Currently, yes, you have the ICC, which is cricket overseas, which is one that you're talking about. I haven't been keeping up with it. I'll be honest about that. I should be. There's Major League Cricket, which is starting up in the U.S., which is going on currently. Their championship will be in July. There are 6 teams within Major League Cricket that's going on. But yes, Sasha is correct. More people will watch soccer than they will watch cricket. That's just the numbers. But people will, if they, depending on the area that you are, people will request cricket. But that's more, in the U.S., that's area specific.
Right.
And not like soccer. More people, but yes, Sasha is correct. Yes, more people will.
No, I agree with Sasha, and that's what I was saying, area specific, because I know if you go to Morrisville and you go to some other places that are building up international cricket locations, even here in North Carolina, they would probably be begging to watch a cricket match and everything like that if they were at a sports park.
I have some numbers. So Americans think soccer is boring. So this World Cup is less boring because the average number of goals per game is now more than 3 per game, which is a 25% increase since the last World Cup. Also, the ball flies more unpredictably. So the game has become a little more chaotic, more high scoring, which Sasha suggested this is a favor for Americans, who are babies when it comes to watching soccer.
Yeah, definitely. As we get ready to wind up, and Joey, just a quick question for you. The other sport that is very popular, at least here in the U.S., is the NBA. And I know LeBron is talking about moving to possibly going back to Miami or possibly going back to Cleveland. The last I heard was Miami. But there's also a lot of talk around the WNBA. And there's that woman that looks like she could possibly play the role, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, of the nerd, because she has those big glasses, but she's a superstar the way she shoots. And you know the one I'm talking about, but I can't think of her name and everything like that. But she is a major superstar in the WNBA. So what's your take on the WNBA athletes as well as NBA, just really quickly? And I can't think of the young lady's name.
The major superstar that's a nerd. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about Olivia Miles?
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, she's not a major superstar though. She's a rookie. She's turned out to be one of the best rookies to ever enter into the WNBA because she's a great player. But the WNBA in general is in a healthy spot. Well, it's in a healthy but unhealthy spot because right now there's a problem with Caitlin Clark and it's not really Caitlin Clark herself, it's her fan base, which Caitlin has been used as a cover for individuals that are doing. It's just a problem right now with those that claim to be Caitlin Clark fans, but that are going down a racist path, especially with Alyssa Thomas, which that situation just happened. Alyssa didn't do anything wrong, nothing wrong. She was playing basketball. Caitlin Clark fell in front of her. They both went for a loose ball. Alyssa ended up on top of her, but trying to stand up, her arm slips off, and people saw this viral image, but never actually saw the video. They didn't care about the video. All they cared about was, Caitlin Clark this. Well, they forget about Caitlin Clark hammering people, and she actually fouls people too. So a lot of these individuals use that as a jumping off board to push racist propaganda and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's a whole other issue.
Yeah, and speaking of other issues, we're going to wrap up.
The WNBA in general is actually in a healthy spot. There's some great players that should be watched.
You could argue it's a more watchable game than an NBA game because it's 40 minutes of playing time compared to 48 for the NBA, so you get through a game faster.
Well, it's not really even that. It's more so that it is basketball more so than a lot more one-on-one. In the WNBA, there's a lot more sets that you can actually read and understand. The game itself is more pure basketball. What people enjoyed back in the 80s and the 90s, back when the NBA was there. That's why I think it's good to see OKC, even with San Antonio and a few other of the teams that are out there that actually run sets that you can read and less one-on-one play. Because the WNBA the NBA has devolved into a lot of, hey, we got a star. Let's showcase the star. If you touch the star, it's a foul on you. That's really what hurt the NBA, and they got away from actually playing basketball. The WNBA is just straight basketball. They play physical, and it's fun to watch. It's really, and honestly, Sasha, I think you love watching the WNBA from the way especially your explanation on European soccer and how soccer is being played now. That is, and your enjoyment of European soccer and how it's going and the pace of play. That's the WNBA and the NBA. Watching the WNBA, you're watching basketball. You're seeing the ball move. You're seeing the actual play set. You're seeing the pick, the screen. And if somebody is flopping or falling down, they don't get the call like they do in the NBA.
By the way, in Europe, basketball, the men's basketball, is being played very similar to.
Yep, I agree. That's why, like I said, I love watching the WNBA because of that. Because it is like the European basketball set. In Euroball, yeah, I mean, you're not star driven. In the NBA, it's all about making money and the star drive.
I have a suggestion that would benefit everybody. LeBron James declares that he's trans and signs a one-game contract with the WNBA, plays one game as a lady. That game would be amazing. It would make everybody crazy. And then after a game,
that'd make people mad. It would fall into the whole traps. You already got the players like that. You got Asia Wilson, who is the most dominant player on the planet in the WNBA. Well, actually, and she is one of the most likable people. Her and Bam Adebayo's relationship is so adorable to watch and witness. But yeah, just watching her play. Yeah, just really quickly, there were two other sports stories that were out there because I mentioned Olivia Miles, and she is part of the LGBT community and everything like that. So she even said that she was rooting for the lesbians and is definitely in the middle of a successful relationship in addition to being a successful rookie. But even the U.S. women's volleyball players are saying that the IOC genetic testing puts them in an impossible position. So there's a number of people that are concerned about the whole notion of testing the women to make sure that they are actual women and all along those lines. And I agree that is shameful on the part of some. It is disturbing. It's very disturbing. You got to prove that you're a woman now in sports. And that's disturbing. Yeah. The fact that they're doing this based on and that's another reason why I was against this whole argument. Oh, trans. I mean, there are a handful of athletes that are out there that are trans individuals that are competing on any competitive level to change anything if you're so hung up on that. So trans women are women, let them compete. Work out, get better. You can. They're taking hormone blockers. So yes, they're not really, and they're on that same competitive level. So just you got one person out of 20 states that is competing. Yet you're going to make all the women in those 20 states prove that they're women.
Yeah, it's not just women, girls. You're going to make 15-year-old girls have to prove that, which is creepy bullshit.
Yeah, that's very creepy and everything like that. Well, I know that because we had an abbreviated investment show, which I did not mind doing either because I enjoyed watching that game between Senegal and their opponent and everything like that. So I'll be doing like Sasha later. I'll be catching those games that we were talking about, including Spain and all along those lines. But we're here to get out of here. We might have World Politics at 5. And of course, we got Coco McMillan at 6. But Sasha, I know you're going to go watch those games, and I'm going to go watch them too. So I'll catch you later, and hopefully we'll have the results that you're expecting. But we'll see who makes it to the round of 16.
Thank you.
No problem.